Mr. Gay World USA Tony Ardolino comes to Queer News Tonight after South Africa competition. Mr. Gay World is an annual global contest for gay men that advocates and leads progressive change by promoting the welfare of LGBTQIA+ communities. This year's first runner-up is Tony Ardolino of the United States. Also known as Tony Cannoli, he has worked with actors such as David Hasselhoff and the Mistress of Dark herself, Elvira, in commercials, apart from his contribution to musicals like Grease and Happy Days. Cannoli started his pageant life by going for Mr. Gay Maine, which he won. After he went on to win Mr. Gay World USA.
Well, tonight we welcome Tony Ardolino, an entertainer from a young age. Tony is an actor who has been in several movies and plays and is also known as a talented singer. He won the title of Mr. Gay World Maine before moving on to Mr. Gay World USA competition here at the Sunshine Cathedral last year, where he also took home that title. We broadcast that event live here at the Happening Out television network and have done quite a bit on Hotspots magazine about Tony. Recently, he went to South Africa to compete in Mr. Gay World competition, where he was the first runner-up. And he and the winner of Mr. Gay World is the first time that there has been a winner and a runner-up from the Americas. Welcome, Tony, to Queer News Tonight.
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
Excited to see you again. The last time I saw you, besides you competing in South Africa, was when Fay What and I were broadcasting the Stonewall Pride Parade on Welton Drive, and you had that fabulous costume on as you came down Welton Drive. 50,000 people saw you there. We're showing that costume. That was your homage to Captain America there, and among other superheroes.
It's a little gay Captain America.
A little gay Captain America. I met you last year at Mr. Gay USA, the national competition that was here. It was the first men's pageant, gay men's pageant that I had ever been to, having participated in so many drag pageants, Miss Florida, of course, and so many others, and my work at RuPaul's Drag Race. I have to tell you, when I came to Mr. Gay USA, I thought, oh, ho hum, this is not going to be that interesting. And I was shocked, absolutely shocked, how talented all the guys were, their performance, the costumes, the state representation, interview, everything. The fans that came and supported. I was just shocked. Tell us a little bit about you. First off, before you got into the pageants, and am I using the right word? Should I say pageant, or is it called something else?
I mean, I'm like you. This was my first pageant I ever went to in my life, so I'm over here like, I'm basically a show dog at this point. So, so you can go. Let's call it a dog show.
Okay,
no, but it's a pageant.
All right. The Pony Show. We'll call it the Pony Show.
The Pony Show. Yeah, there we go.
You had lots of entertainment experience before you competed for Mr. Gay World Maine competition. Tell us about what you did before you got into a pageant, before you got the idea. Tell us a little bit about your entertainment experience.
Yeah, I mean, I've done commercials, I've done film, I produced my own web series and stuff. I toured with Paw Patrol as Ryder, and I toured with Grease and Happy Days as Chachi. So yeah, I was a musical theater guy. I was Chachi, yeah. Of course, right? Of course. And I enjoyed every second of it, being in musical theater. And, then COVID happened, so things kind of slowed down a little bit for the musical theater world. And I was dating a guy, and he was a pageant guy. I didn't even know this world existed. And I remember I was like, I think I can do that. I think I could do that. I think it'd be fun, And he was like, Tony, I don't think it's much different than acting. And I'm like, I feel like it's, you're on stage, you're being yourself, but it's fun. And we were in Maine, and all of a sudden I won Mr. Gay Maine, and then USA came around the corner, and then I won Mr. Gay USA.
Yeah, and you represented Maine. If memory serves me, you're from Rhode Island, right?
I'm from New Jersey,
New
but
Jersey. Okay, well,
my grandma's from Maine, so I was going up to Maine to visit her, and she passed away, so we were helping to move the house and stuff, and
oh,
so then yeah,
oh, okay, all right.
so it
So
was a nice little homage to her.
yes, you were a New Englander representing
Yeah.
Maine, and you come to Florida and you compete in this pageant. So when you came to Mr. Gay World USA here in Fort Lauderdale, and so many contestants representing so many states, were you surprised of the quality of the talent, and not only beautiful guys, beautiful gay guys, but the talent that they brought in terms of dance and singing and performance and acting and costuming? Did it surprise you how good the guys were in Mr. Gay World USA?
I wouldn't say it surprised me. I think it just excited me. Like I said, I was never really knew about this pageant world, and when I got there to see all the what I loved also about this pageant was it wasn't like a cookie cutter pageant. Like there were different races and body types and ages. You know, it wasn't just a bunch of 21-year-olds sitting together being like, okay, like looking like Ken. You know, I look like Super Mario, so like for me to be there, I was like, this is the coolest thing in the world, dude.
Yeah, you
But
weren't
yeah, I
looking
was
like
just
Ken, and
really.
I'm looking at that beautiful picture in the pool. And
There's my aerialness.
yeah, your aerialness, yes, your mermaid realness is what it's called in the pageant
Realness.
world, Tony. So you win Mr. Gay World USA, and I watched the crowning. You were actually very emotional. I remember with a friend of mine that was with me at the pageant. It was another really surprising moment of how important it was. Not that it wasn't important, because it really was, but how emotional you got. Do you remember that moment?
I do. Like I said, I just get off of a breakup, and so what I did was I used all that energy, of being sad and like thinking of like romanticizing the good times, even though it wasn't so great. I took all that energy and I just started being creative, and I made my costume from scratch, and I was bedazzling a baseball bat for my swimsuit outfit, like, and my parents came as well. So all of that, like when they put the crown on my head, it was I went from this guy feeling like, like what am I doing to I'm doing things right. I just
Yeah.
it was a moment where I just felt like I don't know, I felt special, and I think no matter how old you are from 1 to 100, I mean, when you have that moment where you feel like Cinderella, I don't know, it's pretty emotional.
Yeah, and another moment that was really terrific for me to watch is, and you revealed it, your parents in the audience. This Mr. Gay World USA is a 2-day event, lots of things going on, interviews and state costume and talent and runway, etc., formal wear, and your parents are there, as a gay guy that had overwhelming acceptance from a mother, but overwhelming rejection from a father, our ages are different. Your time is different than my time. It was really a moving thing for me to watch your father be so excited to be present and for you. What was that like to have your father in the audience and follow this so closely?
My dad's a sports guy. I grew up, not being forced, but I used to do baseball all the time, and I have a family of, 3 brothers, and so we're a very big sports family, and I was not really good at sports. I used to I'd be listening to Wicked upstairs in my room, and my dad'd be like, "I'm not trying to play baseball with us."
That's right. I don't want to be Mickey
So
Mantle. I want to be Alphaba.
so like I was like when they said they were coming, it just was over them. Like that's all I really needed to see my parents. And when they did place the crown on me, like my parents are crying. And if you would have told that little kid from New Jersey that one day his parents would be there, like I would have never believed you, because I was so scared to come out, as many people were. I I I just want to make my family proud of me. And like as an Italian kid, you grow up, you marry a nice Italian girl, you have a bunch of kids, and the cycle keeps going. And I was so scared that I was gonna let my parents down, and my parents are just the most amazing people in the world. Like, I'm very, very blessed to have them. Like, and you saw like my dad when I won USA, he took the gay Maine sash and he put it on. He wore it the whole night.
That's
So it
great.
was really,
That's
really
great.
cool.
So you win USA here in Fort Lauderdale at Sunshine Performing Arts Center, and then it's a whole nother thing. You're representing now the United States of America, and you go to South Africa, to Cape Town to compete in Mr. Gay World, arguably the most prestigious gay men's title in the world. First off, tell me what the experience was like to represent the United States.
Well, just like this whole year has just been the most amazing year of my life. Like, I've gotten to travel all over the US. I've gotten to talk to kids. I started my Big Brother organization for LGBTQ youth, and we've been doing a mentorship program with Edge New Jersey as well. So we have all these kids now, and they're like looking up. It's really, really cool. I published my children's book as well for LGBTQ youth. So like, this whole thing has been an amazing, amazing experience. So going um to Cape Town, Africa, or South Africa, it's just been like a whole like journey. And so when I went there, I was like, regardless what happens, I had the most amazing year of my life. Like, I kept on viewing this as, because all the guys were getting very, very in their heads when we were in South Africa, and I kept on saying, like, guys, you guys, we won Drag Race. This is just all stars. Like, just have fun,
That's right.
like, and that's like, and so like that's what, and we're going on adventures, and like it was really, really cool. I made such great friends with a bunch of the guys, and I'm gonna, like I said, I have my Gay Big Brother organization, and now we're trying to bring it as well into the other countries. So it's really, really cool.
Awesome. And your experience in Cape Town, first time, was that your first time to Africa?
It's my first time. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
never been before.
yeah.
I used to live in
And
Singapore, so I was excited to see a whole another country.
yeah, and in South Africa, it has a rich history of diversity in the
Hmm.
LGBTQ community. Any thoughts about South Africa and the LGBTQ community there?
It's funny, growing up, the only thing I knew about South Africa was the Disney Channel original movie, The Color of Friendship.
Hmm.
So to go there and experience it, I mean, it's what it was. I think it's the first country that legalized that you can't discriminate against LGBTQ, and I think that, like, as Americans, we like to think that everything like started with, like, in America, but there's other countries that it started with, and like. It's really cool because we actually had to take a test for Mr. Gay World. They tested us knowledge about LGBTQ culture, and I'm very, very happy to admit that I was in the top scoring of that. But it was great. It was just like, because these are things, like in my lifetime, I used to like look up just out of the blue about Stonewall, about things like that, like were interested in me, interesting to me, because this was my culture, and now to be tested on it, it was like. I felt like a third grader being tested on Pokemon. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Of course, I'm an anchor at Queer News Tonight. We report all of the time as Americans, and including in the LGBTQ community, we think we're at the center of the world. And a lot of people do
Yeah,
not realize until they start to travel that there are many places in the world that are far farther than we are in terms of
yeah.
LGBT visibility, rights, protections, marriage, equality, trans equality, etc. All right, so you compete
Mhm.
in the pageant. What was your favorite competition at Mr. Gay World in Cape Town?
Uh, I mean, I feel like the pageant answer would be interview, because I got to talk, and like, and don't get me wrong, you know me, I love to talk,
The
but I
pageantry
when
answer.
but let me tell you something. When I got to walk on stage as my gay Captain America and to see the crowd go crazy,
Was that your
I will
costume for?
treasure that
I
moment.
don't remember that. That was your national costume.
That was my national costume. Yeah,
Oh, okay. And we
it
got to
was
see
the
it
gay
in Fort
Captain
Lauderdale in
America.
June. Excellent.
Yeah,
Okay.
and originally that wasn't going to be my costume. The only reason was because something happened with the new costume I was going to have, and I just thought, I'm like, you know what? I think that gay Captain America is just gonna is just going to turn heads. And when I walked out there, I mean, the whole audience, it looked like space. Like everyone's phones went up. It looked like, a bunch of stars just shining. It was just the coolest thing in the world.
That's
That
awesome.
moment to me was one of my favorite moments.
And Tony, you can reveal it now. It's only you and I talking. Mr. Germany
Only
burned
you and
your
I.
other costume, didn't he? He snuck into your. No, I
Not
won't.
Germany,
No,
never.
not Germany, right? And so you go through the competition. I was expecting you to say talent. Talent wasn't your favorite moment in the pageant.
There wasn't a talent. There wasn't a
Okay.
talent.
All right.
Yeah, because let me tell you something, Al. If there was a talent, maybe
Uh-oh.
the thing would have been different. Okay,
I
no,
was going to say we're going to call for
there
a
wasn't a
recount.
there
It.
wasn't a talent
Oh, okay.
a category. Yeah,
All right.
it was mostly. I felt like it was a giant runway show, so I was living my best little modeling self.
Yes. All right. Well, Alaska would love that. Jinx wouldn't so much. Jinx was the talent girl. Right. Or
I'll be
Raja.
the jinx of this. I'll
Yeah,
be the jinx.
exactly right. All right, so you get to the final crowning, and somebody from the Americas had never won Mr. Gay World, and really two
Well,
people.
I'll also. Oh,
Go ahead.
one of the best things was I don't know if you knew this, but my mom surprised me and she came to South Africa
Oh,
and she
you
was
didn't
sitting in
know?
the front row.
Oh,
So
awesome.
that was another really cool experience, and so it was really cool to see my mom sitting there in the front row in South Africa of all
Yeah,
places.
that's awesome. And so we're at the final event. I watched.
Hmm.
The final event in streaming. We're going to have to get to the point where, like Mr. Gay World USA, we broadcast it for them because it's a lot more interesting to watch in a live fashion. So we're doing the crowning. There's never been a winner from the Americas of
Hmm.
Mr. Gay World. The Philippines seems to do really, really well in Mr. Gay World historically
Hmm.
through the years. South Africa won last year. So it comes down to two people from the Americas, you and Mr. Puerto Rico. What was your thoughts when it came down to the two of you? What were you thinking when you were at that moment?
I mean, so it wasn't down to the two of us. It was like a top five, and they just announced
Oh, in the
third
order.
place,
That's right. I do
second place,
remember.
and first place. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. So I mean, after they crowned me as first runner up, I looked and I'm like, oh, it could be anybody at this point because I
Yeah.
thought everyone was immensely talented, and it was just really really cool. I mean, like I said, I had that moment in Fort Lauderdale, and so whoever's going to have that moment is just going to be the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah. And did you, like in Miss Congeniality and that moment, did you just hate Puerto Rico at that moment that you just wish
Can you
he would
imagine if
fall
I was
over?
like Gracie Hart? If I was like Gracie Hart, I just took the crown out. Can you imagine, dude? No, there wasn't really a crown, so I guess they gave me a medal too, so it was the exact same medal. So I mean, I would just have two medals. I would.
Right, right.
So
We
it
did a
was cool.
story. We did a story on you after your runner-up, and we also did a story on Mr. Puerto Rico, Mr. Gay World, Puerto Rico, and becoming Mr. Gay World. Were you excited that Mr. Gay World recognizes the Americas? You know, Puerto Rico is as close to the United States as you can get as a territory.
Yeah.
Our 51st. Philosophical state. Was it exciting to you to be a part of the pageant where there were basically two Americans that are winning the pageant and runner-up in the pageant? Was that exciting?
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's all about representation too, and like I said before, I thought any one of those guys could have won. I mean, it was just like I said, it was all stars. I mean, South Africa, he had my heart. He was just an amazing person. Philippines made me laugh nonstop. Czech Republic was also a funny guy. So everyone was just so amazing. So like I said, it didn't really matter where we were from at this point because listen, we're all humans. I mean, just whoever won, that was just going to be their moment, and
Yeah,
that's what this is all about.
yeah,
And hopefully, like I said, no, like this whole thing too is what I like to consider this is there's a bunch of kids and a bunch of just people out there that maybe don't feel seen, and so when they get to see someone that looks like them or acts like them or has the same story as them, like that's what magic is. Like when
yeah.
they see like, wow, I can be my authentic self and wear a crown. Like that's what this is all about.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And Tony, real quick, let's talk about what's next. Now, if this was like the Kentucky Derby, do you get put out to pasture and you just breed the next lots of new Mr. Gay USAs and Worlds? What's next for you?
Well, like I said, I just published my children's book, Gail the Merboy, which you can find at Barnes and Nobles and Amazon and online. So look, it's a LGBTQ youth book as well. So it's really cool. It's for all the little merboys out there. I'm on a reality show that's coming out in January, but I can't say too much about it. But it's gonna be on Out TV. So
Oh, excellent.
look for Tony Cannoli on that. I just did another show for FX, which I can't talk too much about. And yeah, dude, I'm just enjoying every second of my life. And I just got a dog. Literally yesterday, I got a dog. So that's like
Excellent.
my biggest thing right now. So I'm just
Your dog's
excited. Like I
bigger
said,
than your
I've been
television experience.
right. He's so cute. I love him. But yeah, I've been doing a bunch of things here and there, and I'm also touring with my LGBTQ Gay Big Brother organization. So we're gonna be talking to kids, and we talk to youth, and we've been doing a bunch of schools to like just talk to the kids and about diversity and inclusion, and just not to compare yourself with other people.
Yeah, yeah, wonderful. And speaking of touring, you're going to be here for our audience in South Florida. You're going to be here at Sunshine on November 13th. There's going to
I am.
be a charity variety show, and you're going to be heading that out and a launch for the new Mr. Gay World USA. So we're looking forward to seeing you. Open invitation to come to Queer News Tonight and sit and become a news anchor one evening. That would be
I
great.
can't wait. I can't
Yeah,
wait.
that'd
No,
be
I can't
fun.
wait. You get to hear me sing and then talk to you. So
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
We've
gonna wear
not had
my orange
singing
glasses too, Al.
on the show before, so that'll be exciting. And then Mr. Gay World USA is going to be here again in South Florida. The new Mr. Gay World USA is going to be crowned in March of 2023. Your time is almost up, where we have to put you out to pasture, Tony. You thinking about giving up that crown at the young age that you were at?
Can't wait to be a golden girl, my friend. I'm just gonna live back with my little crowd. No, like I said, I can't wait because like this whole journey has been an amazing experience for me. I can't wait to see somebody else take my footsteps and do even better than I have. This whole thing is what when I was getting crowned. Nathan and Kyle, they came up to me and they said, like, we've been in your shoes before and you're going to go farther than we have, and then after you they can go farther than you. And I love that whole like, I don't know, that idea. And so like I'm so excited to like gone the farthest that I can go with this, and I just can't wait to see what the next guy does.
Yeah, it's a wonderful concept in the LGBTQ community when we're able to stand on the shoulders of the people that came before us. If you haven't been to a Mr. Gay state pageant, much less to Mr. Gay World USA pageant, you must come to it. It will be really a surprising thing to you. The quality, of course, the men ain't so bad. First and foremost, the men ain't so bad, but the talent that comes in representation, in interview, and runway, and swimsuit, and in state costume, and in talent, it is really an impressive thing for the LGBTQ community to see.
Like,
Please go ahead, Tony.
oh, and what I loved also about it is just like you get to see so many different interpretations of what swimmer is and what talent is. And like I said, there's people all over the world, and they're gonna like the drag queens in RuPaul's Drag Race, and they're gonna levitate towards, that would be my talent, that'd be my swimsuit, and that's what this is. It's just the coolest thing, and I hope it inspires people that you can step on this stage too. You don't need to look like something, you don't need to be something, you don't need to have $1 million. I made my costume from the dollar store supplies.
Yeah,
Like, you
that's
can just
awesome.
go on stage, wear your smile, and just have fun. It's all about fun. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And we'll get into this when you're here on November 13th. Mr. Gay World USA and the pageant system embraces trans men. So we'll talk about the great diversity that goes on in it.
Yeah.
Tony Ardolino, runner-up of Mr. Gay World 2022. Congratulations to you. You're still
Thank you
our
so much.
American winner, Mr. Gay World USA, and you're that until March of 2023, and then we have to throw you out. No, we're not.
Amen.
Exactly. Tony Ardolino, thank you very much for being with us tonight at Queer News Tonight.
Thank you for having me. I can't wait to see you again.